between whiskey and you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ken Boone. This is weekly. Oh my God, Whiskey Wednesday Weekly. I'll get it right eventually. This is episode 4, and I'm actually with my mother again, Jeannette Blanchfield.
Hello.
Hence the name Jeannette Blanchfield, and I'm, obviously originally from the Boone side. So she remarried. Secondly, I just wanted to bring up that I'm going to have a new format this week. I'm going to try and shoot some more questions, and also I'm actually going to set a timer on my watch for shot timing, so that way we kind of keep the flow going and make sure we get some shots in time, so we don't go so long-winded. So hope you guys enjoy, but we're going to tell a little bit of stories about her and myself and see how we go from there. So okay. That's about it. So obviously, tonight we do have the traditional whiskey and Coke as chasers, so we're going to go through that, and we'll probably start off with a shot. Just because I know that we need to loosen up a little bit, and I know you love this next shot that we just came up with over the weekend. It's actually called a BMW, and obviously just because that's a kind of car I love. So we actually have that shot, and it's actually a Bailey's, it's a Malibu rum, and American whiskey. So tonight we went with Tennessee, which is obviously American. So that is the whiskey of choice. This Tennessee whiskey is actually a Bevmo kind of self, like Costco brand, but it's Bevmo's brand.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a pretty good brand. So we're going to go ahead and start off because this is Mom's favorite. It's kind of a little milky, as you can see, but it's super good.
You won't see me make a face.
I was going to say, you know that it's not bad because later on the shot faces will get worse.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit about Mom's early years. Obviously, this show is meant to try to share people's struggles or what they've been through, or maybe just, document their past and what they went through so generations ahead can see that. So, Mom, as an early child, maybe in your early, I think 12 or 13, you had mentioned that my original grandfather had passed away due to cancer.
Right.
Now, being a young 12-year-old girl,
right,
with a mother and 2 younger brothers,
right,
I just wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit on people that have to go through that tragedy, especially at a young age. Do you remember, even though you're 71 now, like do you remember like the day? Do you still have that memory,
yes.
like it was burned into your brain?
Oh my God,
how did you deal with that?
It was terrible. I had like a crush on my father, not a bad crush.
No, I gotcha. You were a daddy's girl.
Yes, and I thought there was nobody like him. And when I grew up, I wanted to marry a man just like him because I thought my father was, to me, he was my Elvis Presley.
Sure.
And I was devastated. The preacher came over that night and gave me a calming, sermon. And then I think Grandmom, bless her heart, gave me some kind of nerve medicine that she lived by.
Okay.
And but it was devastating. It's something that nobody should have to go through at that young age because my brothers were 11 and 6.
Okay, wow. Okay, so your youngest brother was that
Only
big
6,
of a difference.
yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if he really understood. I guess he did.
Sure, it's 6, but he didn't really,
No.
Now, do you mind telling me, like, what kind of cancer or how you've heard the news? I mean, was it, like, a long, or is it more, like, happened?
No, he had it, but we didn't know that he wasn't going to make it.
Okay.
We should have, but in our young minds, back then you weren't allowed to go to the hospital. Kids weren't allowed in the hospital.
Oh, didn't know that.
So on a Monday night, they allowed us to see our father, which alarm should have come off,
Well, 12, 11, and 6,
and
you're kind of thinking.
Mom says, now, Jeannette, if you don't be upset when you see your father. If you do, you walk out of the room.
Right.
Because he was just a little teeny man laying in the bed, nothing like I remember, and that was the last time we saw him. He died like 2 days later or something like that.
How long did that go on that he was sick?
Oh, well, he was sick. He had an operation. In fact, the picture that I have of him was in April.
Okay.
He died in October.
Okay.
So he had, but back then, remember, when they opened him up, it spread. They didn't do the chemo and all that.
Back when? I mean, you're 12.
That was in 61.
60s? Okay. All right.
And they opened him up, and they found it, and of course, every time you opened it, spread, and I think they opened him up twice.
Okay.
So there wasn't anything they could really do for him.
Yeah, it's a different time,
and he was only
for sure.
32 years old.
And believe me, that was one of my biggest fears, because I knew that my real grandfather had passed away such a early age. So once I was getting around 30,
Yeah.
I kept going to the doctor, making
Yeah,
sure
I
I was
know you-
okay. Yeah, it was just
And
like,
Mom was only 30, left with 3 children.
right.
And so she had to go to work. She went to beautician school during the day.
So how did you handle being like a
Oh, my
now
God.
instant mom with your
Oh.
brothers?
Well, I burnt so much food. Them poor boys, it's a wonder they survived. Well, bless their hearts. We had a lot of they had them frozen beefsteaks. It came in
Okay.
a box. It was an orange
Steakums.
box. No,
Like
it was
steakums. Oh.
SK beefsteaks. It came in an orange box.
Okay. Obviously, we don't have those
No,
today.
it
So
was frozen beef patties.
right. Oh, okay.
And I cooked them. And we ate a lot of cupcakes and a lot of Cokes and a lot of potato chips.
So needless to say, Granny was definitely
Well,
on board with the help.
We had a little grocery store like a block away, and we had a charge account there, thank God.
Right.
And then Mom at night worked at the diner, and we lived like right out the alley was the diner. Everything was. She didn't leave us by ours. We were right there.
Oh, okay.
If anything
okay.
happened.
Okay.
She walked. She lived across. She worked across the street.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't no big
You could
deal.
hang out at the diner?
No, we didn't.
Oh.
But she was there. So
Oh. Oh, I thought you said she was going to beautician school.
during the day.
Oh, and then she worked as a waitress at night.
At night,
Oh,
yes. She had to
jeez.
make a living somehow.
Yeah, no, you guys must have hardly ever seen her then at that time.
Not really. No.
Yeah, yeah, but she had to do what she had to do as a single mom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I had to do what I had to do.
Yes. Now, did you have any kind of social life, even though you're only 12, up till when you met Dad? I mean, did you pretty much
No,
stay
we were
busy in
just
school?
kids,
Yeah.
with the, just crazy kids. And
Yeah.
um,
Resilient though. I mean,
Right.
obviously, kids are so resilient; they don't even know what they're going through.
no,
and they
it was
just get thrown in.
it was hard. Like everything, Mom changed the house around and did things, and yeah, but it was hard. I almost failed. I was in 7th grade.
Oh,
Almost
okay.
failed school
Oh wow!
because I was so upset
Of
about
course.
my father.
And busy and doing all that
yeah,
stuff.
and but I had a wonderful teacher that worked with me and worked with my mom and got me through.
And understood what
and
you were going
understood
through.
what I was going through. He said, "She's not dumb.
Yeah.
She's going through a rough time."
Right.
Because I remember sitting in class. This is no lie, and this is something I've never forgotten. Even at 12, I remember sitting in class and thinking that they were going to call my name over the loudspeaker, or somebody was going to come knock at the door and say, "This is a 12-year-old's mind."
Mm-hmm.
That I was needed in the office. That whoever that man was that died wasn't my father.
Oh, wow.
There was a twin.
You really thought like
I
that
did.
was what
That
you,
was the
you were
going-
that hopeful that like,
Oh yeah, that
it was
he
just
was
it
not.
was just a joke.
That he was not gone.
Oh,
no,
my
that,
God.
that
It was a
we-
mistake.
Everybody thought that he was.
Right, right.
But it wasn't really him.
Right.
In my mind, that's what I thought. I've never forgotten it.
Well, that was very hopeful. I mean, you're probably
Well,
that's
guess
how
what?
you devastated
It never
you were.
happened.
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, before we get on the next set,
Yeah.
my timer did go off, so we're gonna have another shot
Oh,
of real
God, what are we
whiskey this
having?
time. Well, this is actually Templeton Rye.
Uh-huh.
It's also from this South as well, and so
Is
it's
that
an American.
here?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Oh
So
God.
this one, again, we're taking it easy on Mom just because she's tiny.
Oh my God, Kelly.
Well, the good news about this, we
Is
have
there any good whiskey here?
we've had a
Oh,
couple.
sorry, people that like whiskey.
She's not a whiskey drinker, so let's just set the record
This
straight.
is the only one I like.
Yeah, the sweet ones, it's just like someone who likes sweet wine. So nonetheless, my mom's not a whiskey drinker, but these are very, very good whiskeys, and I like to try different ones every week. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about a little bit about when you 5 years later, you went from 12 to 17, and you had already met my father, correct?
Well,
you've already I know he's your friend, but you already fell in love with him by the
fell
time
in
you were
love with
17.
him at 14.
So that was the morning you woke up feeling butterfly. Was it 14?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So needless to say, my father was her neighbor and friend for
Well,
many years.
his sister was my best friend.
Right. Yeah. His older
And
sister or
he-
younger sister?
He only had one.
Well, I meant, is she older or younger?
She was younger.
Okay, so she was younger
And
Okay.
and he took us to school every day. And for some
because
reason
he could drive or walk.
He
was
drove.
he driving at the time?
Oh yeah,
okay.
he drove. And he had a big blue car.
Yeah.
And I think it was Snoopy. No, that was the other
That
car.
was later. Yeah.
And I woke up one morning with butterflies, and I'm thinking, what's going on? And so I went down, like I do every day, walked down there to go to school. And when he walked down the steps, I went, oh my God! And I started shaking, and I don't know what happened.
I assume it was when your hormones kind of finally
I guess
kicked
they
in.
switched over.
Right. It was the day.
But it was weird because I've been around
Right.
him.
That's what I mean. It was like some kind of chemical reaction in your
But I
body.
didn't tell. I mean, it's not like he knew Well, I guess he look at my dog eyes like,
Yeah.
And I didn't look like this, people. I was actually halfway decent. But anyway.
As we all are when we're in our, 12,
young.
15, 20s, 30s, 40s.
And I can't remember, well, it's still, for some reason, he must have known I liked him, because that night that we played Relivio, remember
Okay,
I told
you were talking about the game.
where we
it's like
hide.
kind of kick the can, sort of, but old school.
Well, back then you could run the streets at
Right.
night. Nobody was worried about
Of course.
you. I mean, not run the streets,
I know
but
what
I
you
meant
mean.
your
Yes,
neighborhood
yes,
was
yes.
safe.
Mhm.
You weren't scared to death of everything. We used to hide in the dark, and then we had a base, and we were on teams, and me and Roland were on teams with. Oh, I wasn't supposed to mention anything. Anyway, we were on teams with
a
other
good thing.
people,
It's
and
fine.
next thing you know, we ended up on base,
Mhm.
and I don't know what happened, but he kissed me. And sparks flew, and all that stuff you see on the first kiss with the fireworks.
With the movies and everything.
It happened.
Yeah. Wow.
Never has yet.
Right,
Since, but
right.
it did that one time. Never did again, but
Yeah.
it did that one
Well,
time.
that's the whole first love thing.
Oh, it was. It was very wonderful.
So bringing that back to reality here, that we're in the what year now? If your father died at 61, so we're talking 4 years later, 65, 66, is when you actually you were pregnant at 17. Is that correct?
Yeah.
With my sister.
Mhm.
Okay. So
And we got
back
married.
then though, 17
We got
wasn't
married in
after you were pregnant
66.
or before you were pregnant?
After.
After. Okay. But back then, being pregnant at 17 wasn't as difficult, or maybe it's
No, we couldn't go. I had to quit school.
Okay, you had to quit school back
weren't
then, so it
allowed
was
to
more
go to
difficult. Okay, where here you can still go to
Oh,
school.
you can go to school up to your labor
right,
pain.
right, okay.
But back then you couldn't. You had to quit school.
Is
so
it because
I did.
you were
And I was
mocked?
in 12th grade.
Was it because you were mocked, or
No,
it's just because of health
it was.
reasons?
It was no. It was the rule. You could
I
not.
know, I just didn't know why back then, what the rule, why it was, because they didn't
Because
want
it
people
was-
to shame you, or?
I guess.
Okay,
But it was like you weren't allowed to go, and there was a lot of us in that year. But
Yeah.
anyway, I wasn't ashamed.
no, I know.
I was fine.
But I mean, the laws changed, so I'm just trying to figure out, because I'm trying to give people a perspective of what it was back then. And you're right, I forgot that you don't go to school if you were pregnant,
No,
because
not back then.
I
you
think
did.
it was either a protection or hey,
But
that
see,
just shows that you're
Roland
not a
and
good
I
kid.
got married. Oh, God. We
It's-
got married.
It's a
Oh,
good
they know
memory.
who
It's
you are.
fine. It's a
We
good
got
memory.
married.
Yeah.
At Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want him to forget our anniversary. I had it engraved on his wedding ring and got married Christmas Day. I mean, Lord of mercy.
Right.
Like he's going to forget it. It worked out good for a few years. After that, forget the gift Christmas anniversary.
Yeah, it's tough.
It didn't work.
You thought it was a good idea, and then you realize that's not a good
I
idea.
got one gift. Okay, here you go. Anyway, then, but at my graduation,
Mm-hmm.
he was in, where was he? He was somewhere. He was in the service.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, he was an army guy.
yeah, he went in the service, and I was home pregnant. And we wrote every day, and I would send him a letter every day. And then, I think it was June the 8th. I was supposed to graduate that year,
Okay.
June the 9th,
Okay.
1967.
Okay.
I was supposed to graduate June the 8th. And so that letter I wrote, I said, because our letters were boring.
Of course.
Every
yeah.
day. So I said, oh,
How much more can you say every day?
I was living with his parents. I said, oh, by the way, I just had a pain. Let's hope it means something. Well, I'll be damned. I went to graduation that night, my graduation.
Right.
The only one out of the senior class that got pregnant that showed up, because
Okay.
I was not ashamed. I was with my in-laws.
Yeah,
And
you
my
love your dream
class.
husband too.
My
Yeah.
class was graduating.
Right.
And I got up to go to the bathroom, and when I got back, here's my senior class going, are you okay? Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fine. She was born the next day.
You were in labor.
Yeah, but I didn't know it.
Yeah.
And
well,
I
at
just wrote to
17,
your
it's kind
father,
of harder. 18,
oh,
yeah.
I'm having a pain. I wouldn't have no damn pain.
You're having the baby.
But next thing you know, she was born the next day.
So he joined. Was he drafted or did he join the military?
I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I
Because
can't.
that's an awful young age
I can't
back then.
remember.
Okay.
I
But he
wanna
only did
say
4
he
years.
was drafted.
But he only did 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I know then you also moved to Colorado at one point due to his 4-year stint, right? I wasn't born then yet, correct?
He got his orders for Vietnam
Okay.
when I was pregnant.
Okay.
But because I was pregnant, he got a deferment to stay stateside.
Okay.
So he went to Colorado.
Right.
So we were all tickled.
Okay.
So I sent all our
belongings
out there. And when Lisa was 6 weeks old and we had our checkups,
Right.
we flew out to be with him.
Okay.
The day we're flying over, He gets his orders for Vietnam.
Oh my gosh.
And so when we get there, and we had a place to stay with
Right.
some wonderful people that we had met in basic training
Right.
in Aberdeen. And so we stayed there, and we came back and sent all my stuff back to Maryland. And then he went to Vietnam for a year.
Yeah.
When your sister was just a baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say it had to be early on, so I wasn't even thought of it.
No,
yet.
you weren't even a thought.
Right. Well, guess what is a thought?
Another
shot.
Oh God,
The
what are we
timer went off a
drinking
few
now?
minutes ago, so I'm ready to start it. So we got this is bullet bourbon.
And
This
what's
is
that?
actually it's a very very it's also Kentucky, but it's extremely good. So
So you say.
I like it. We'll see what Mom thinks. Here
Yeah,
we go.
we'll see what Mom thinks.
And then we'll move on. That's not bad though. You know what I'm proud of? She's shooting instead of sipping. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so now that
You know, somebody gonna walk me home. I live down there.
She lives pretty close, so that's a good
You
thing.
see the pool? I live down there.
They can't see the pool, Mom. They only see
Don't
the
you see
fireplace.
the pool?
No.
Oh, there's a pool there.
All right, so.
All right, where are we going now?
No, it's all right. So, move fast forward to when I was born.
When you were born.
Well, not necessarily the day I was born. I'm just saying, like, now I'm alive. I'm on the
You're
earth.
alive.
You've got Dad, me, Lisa. I do remember multiple moves. So I was born on one street, moved to another neighborhood. I think 4 homes by the
Wait a
time
minute.
you and Dad got
You were
divorced.
born on Harrison.
Right.
Then we moved to Swan Haven.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved to, hold on,
Lomax, you said.
Lomax.
And Winton was the.
And then Winton.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, after your father and I split up,
Right.
I ended up buying a home in Golden.
Correct. So.
And you were still with me then, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay, because that's when you were
So I'm 9 years old when they get divorced. I've lived in 4 homes in 9 years, and the fact that I remember them, I mean, obviously as a baby on the first one. So we moved a lot. It was a good time.
But they were all nice places.
No. There was nothing wrong with them. It was a lot of rotation and different friends and things like that. But it was actually good
But we
for
were all
me.
in the same town.
Right. So raising me and Lisa, again, nothing. It's my sister. So were there any kind of like good memories, or I mean, there's lots of good memories. I just mean, a lot of people have asked, a little bit about me, direct messaging. So I'd like to find out, what are some stories that you've always told me, whether I've been climbing trees or I was always into something, but I wasn't a bad kid into something.
No, he was
just
never a bad
hyper. I did a lot of things. So tell me a couple stories.
He liked to ride his bike and he liked to run into things. And a lot of the time that he was young, I was a single mother.
Okay, good.
And his father wasn't always there. So he would hurt himself in places we don't need to mention. And then he would come to me and I'd say, well, you're on your own there, bud. And I'm very fortunate that he has had 3 beautiful children.
Right.
But because we weren't sure at the time. But
I definitely did. You were right.
You have done
and
some...
my mom brings up all the time how she feels like she wasn't a good mom. I feel like half the time she feels like that just because she was either always working or she was just like, you're injured. I can't deal with that. I don't like blood. I don't like broken things. I don't like anything. But I was always breaking or hitting something.
When he was my little teeny tiny baby, Lisa was different. She was like more independent. Kenny was my little scrawny little fella. He was 4 wearing 18-month-old clothes, and I would grind his food. I would grind his food up. He choked on a Rice Krispie.
Oh God!
And luckily, the people that lived upstairs, one of my best friends, I'd call her and she'd come down and say, "Oh my God, Jeannette. The kid, you got to stop feeding him like this." And
I choked on a Rice Krispie because she fed me mush. So I'm older, and she would like grind up peas and everything like I'm an infant still.
Remember when you would fall and your legs would
yes,
go?
I
and
was
I
double
thought something was
jointed.
wrong
Yes,
with you. I took him to the doctor and found out he had hyperelasticity, and I said, "What the hell is that?" And they said, "Well, he's double jointed, but he'll outgrow it." And you have, right?
Yeah,
Or
it took me a
have you?
long time.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not double jointed anymore. I'm 48, so I've grown out of that. I'm not a circus
But he
clown.
would fall, and I'm thinking, "Oh my God, he's broke his leg. Look at where his leg is." But he made it.
Yes.
But I took him to the doctor because I thought something was wrong with him. And then what else have you done?
Well, let's see.
Oh, wait a minute.
Go ahead. Okay,
He
sorry.
got on a dirt bike. His uncle had to
I was
buy
at
him
Winton Avenue at that time, so
yeah.
I was only like 9 or 10.
He had to buy, because I had met Mike by then.
Yeah.
He had his uncle had to buy him a dirt bike. And then here's him, and then was it Mike or Roland that was telling you how to use it?
No, it was Mike, definitely.
Oh, yeah, they're in the yard telling him how to drive this, how to drive that, and so he goes...
Uncle Brain, too, the one that bought me.
And all of a sudden you hear, boom! And I'm going, oh my God, I heard a crash. And they run, and I'm standing there thinking he's dead, because he goes out to a main street.
Yeah.
And he crashed through some people's gates. Thank God it stopped him.
I definitely have been through a lot. I mean, tell him about the smash face with the tree with my sister.
Oh, when you weren't very old. You were like 4.
I was older than that, wasn't I? When I
You
ran
were
through the
you
tree.
were in you were in daycare.
Oh, God,
at the
I
St.
felt
Mark's
so much
Church.
older.
Lisa and him were down to my grandmother's and Aunt Pauline's. They were throwing each other around on a rope. And they
I love how
watching.
she laughs at the fact that I have like half a face
they weren't
missing.
watching. Lisa wasn't watching, and she slammed him into a tree, and the whole side of his face. Oh my God! I wish we had pictures of this. It was the most deformed-looking thing you've ever seen. So here we go.
Good thing I'm married too.
Here we go. Brian and Suzette were there.
Brian
one
is
of
your
his
brother.
wives. Yes, he was one of my brothers. He's one of my brothers. And Suzette, we were down at my mom's.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we are going up there. I'm trying to keep you awake because you're not supposed to fall asleep.
Wow, you
had
actually the whole
we
that
knew
whole
that.
concussion thing was going on back
Yeah,
then.
we knew
Good,
that.
good.
Oh yeah.
Thank
So
God
we're
you did
driving. We're driving to Easton Memorial Hospital. We go into the hospital and to the emergency room, and I turn around to look at Brian, who's carrying Kenny, and the door opened up,
Hits him in
smacked
the
me in the
face.
nose. So here I am like this, and we walk into the emergency room, and the nurses are sitting there. I'll never forget it, looking at a catalog like another day, Sunday, and they look up and they say, "Can I help you?" And Brian said, "Well, my my nephew here ran into a tree, and my sister here ran into your door outside." And they said, "Do you need to see a doctor?" I said, "No, take care of him."
Yeah.
And luckily, God bless the doctor, Marici. He's gone now. Bless his heart. He treated my children for years. He was a great doctor. He come in because they were getting ready to call social services, and he said, "Did Lisa have something to do with this?" I said, "Yes, she was on the other end of the rope."
You know, it reminds me of the Friends episode when like Phoebe, I think, goes into labor, and then one of them has like a gallstone. So they're like, she's like, "You're stealing my thunder." It's like you busted your nose, and I'm the one that's got the real injury.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
But he did. What was I? Where was I going with this? He's fine. He was fine. He didn't go to school a few days. Because
I know it's not. I know we. I just want to know. There's another one you've always told me. I don't know how was I when I had double bronchial pneumonia. I'm always saying all this stuff because I don't know why I'm alive.
You were okay. Here, again, took you to the doctor, and my bless his heart, God bless Dr. Marici, took you to the doctor. Why? I don't know. But anyway,
I was obviously sick of double bronchial.
He said he checked your weight.
Right.
You hadn't gained any weight in a year.
Okay.
I told he was
not
puny.
A surprise. Yeah,
he
it was little.
puny.
Yeah.
And you had
you guys know what the word puny
bronchial
means?
pneumonia in both lungs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they put you in oxygen. I remember going in there, and I'd go in there at night, and you were not in your bed, and I said, "Where's Kenny?" They put him in a bath because you were running fever.
Yeah.
And I hear you screaming.
Oh my God.
And luckily,
I'm glad I don't remember all that. That was
you were
sounds
young.
terrible. Yeah.
And luckily, there was another little boy in the same room that him and his mom and me worked out a schedule.
Right.
That I was with him and you, and she was. So we never
right.
left
Yeah,
you
kind of
guys
watched
alone.
each other out. Yeah.
So she had a job, I had a job, but we
Right.
worked different shifts, and there was somebody always there with you.
Okay.
But you were in there for a while.
Well, I was in like a tent, wasn't I?
Oh yeah,
Wasn't it like a germ-free tent
you
or
remember
something?
that?
Yeah. Well, I remember you telling me. That's
you
all I
were
remember.
in a tent, yeah.
So
back then they had the. Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
They had the whole thing.
it was like you
now
drape
you
it
put
over.
you
The
put
mask
the
on.
mask.
Yeah.
Back then, you're right. They did.
I'm telling you what, man. I honestly.
You're lucky you're alive, son.
Well, that's only honest about
Oh,
half the stories.
honey, we got plenty more.
There's a
where that
lot
come
of
from.
stories. The drowning story.
Oh yeah.
When I literally I was
Well,
bobbing for apples.
Back to the daycare center, where he went for 3 or 4 years. God bless them. They took him.
I went to daycare for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, ever since.
That was like a well, that's right. You're
2,
working. Yeah.
And they took you and they did swimming lessons. So he learned once he fell into the deep end, which I can't swim a lick, and everybody else seemed to look at him like, oh.
I fell into a deep end of a pool. I had no idea what I was doing, and people
And
were
he's
just watching
like
me.
doing this, and he's actually, and luckily the woman who owned the place jumped in and saved him, because I couldn't. And my brother had
A cast on his
hurt
leg.
himself.
Yeah.
He had hurt himself, so he couldn't because his leg was all raw,
Yeah.
and he couldn't jump in. And but he was fine because of. I'm encouraging every child to learn how to swim.
That's a huge
I've
one.
never learned. Luckily, he has. His
Mhm.
kids know how to
Obviously,
swim.
I'm a decent swimmer now, but
I think my other grandchildren do. I'm not sure.
okay.
I'm very afraid of water. Always have been. Fell overboard at a young age.
But she gets in the pool up to her knees, maybe her waist.
no, I'll
I
get
mean,
up
she
to
gets,
here.
she's
But I
really
can't-
stepping up at 71.
I don't. Once that pool goes down, Jeannette
Right,
comes back. I don't go because
Oh,
once I
God.
can't feel my feet, I get scared and I
Right.
panic.
Yeah, no, I got you. It
And
makes
back
sense.
in the day when I was young, I'd lay on my back and float.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah,
oh,
man.
so when you were young,
Go
you were
underwater.
fine. Oh. Huh.
But not
That's
now.
weird how that happens.
Scared to death.
It's a lot of stuff that happens. All of us have traumatic experiences
you're
that
young.
take us through. Guess what?
What? It's time for another shot.
Yes.
What do we
this
have
one
now? Oh God.
is an Irish whiskey.
And what's that? mean?
Jameson. It's a very good whiskey. I mean, it's
Kenny, they're all good to you.
it
Here
is.
to you guys.
Jameson. Well, I think this one hits you hard. I think you're not. I think that one's gonna hit her.
Thank
the
God
worst.
for the napkin so you don't see my face.
You have a chaser
Oh yeah.
with whiskey and coke.
Oh.
That's not an act, by the way. Okay, so while you're doing that, I want to move on to. Obviously, there was a divorce from my father. That's fine.
Many years.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying we had good memories. We rode bikes. We
yeah.
went to walk, snow. It was good
Oh,
stuff.
every week we did stuff together. I mean, your father was
He was a very active father, and that's kind of why I think I have it.
Yes.
Because me and the boys are extremely,
Oh
and
my
Brooke,
God! Every Sunday
always doing stuff.
he liked to get out. We either rode bikes. We did walk in the woods all the time. We had
Right.
to get sticks and walk in the woods with the dog. And you're right. It was a good time.
I mean, 9 years. It was for
No.
me. I don't remember all the other stuff. I don't remember the breakup parts. I just remember going to a pool and without Dad. You get what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
don't remember like ever having any
Yeah.
issues. So fast
I'll tell
forward.
you what, you kids handled it very well. I'm not taking credit
I
for
personally
that.
don't have a lot of
You-
like bad. You know how people
No,
have like
because
issues. I don't have
because
that.
your father continued to see you.
Right.
And
Oh yeah, we
and,
definitely saw
yeah,
him all
he
the
saw
time. We'd
you
go to
all
his
the
house.
time,
We'd play in the
and
woods.
you did stuff together.
Yep.
And when we were together, we did stuff
Mhm,
together.
mhm.
You never really saw a whole lot of bad.
No.
And then when we split up, you accepted it,
Right.
which I'm very glad. And because we continued, he would come over and pick you up. We were still friends.
Yeah.
We weren't fighting. We
It was
weren't
good.
bickering.
It was an amicable divorce.
Yes. And
So-
then when it was years after that, I don't even know how many. Let's see. I was living in Golden when I got served with my divorce papers.
Right.
So it had been a while.
And that's time
And
to
I
move
was
on
fine,
because you had
'cause
already
I had
moved
already
on.
met
right,
Mike.
Right.
So I was okay.
So bringing up Mike, that's my stepfather. Let's just take a quick clip of how you met him because
And
obviously Mike is obviously the father of my sister, and so I want to bring that my other sister. So I want to just bring up just a real quick. How did you meet him? You said at a bar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I like to bring that up is because me and my wife met at like a bar.
Yeah, you did.
Moose's in San Diego that's no longer there, but it was very similar that way.
Oh, the bar's not
where-
there anymore.
No, it closed down.
Neither is the one.
I know.
The one that I haven't made. It
But
tore
what's
down.
interesting is I asked her if it was like happenstance, and what's funny is tell me you said you weren't feeling up to it, right? That night? Okay, what's funny is Mila told her girlfriends no.
No.
I don't want to go out.
No.
They
She
actually
didn't want
left.
a Navy. She didn't want a Navy guy.
Well, not just that, they left to go.
Oh.
But her girlfriend forgot her ID. And so
Oh.
she came back to the house and said, "Are you sure you don't want to go?" And they're like, I'm not taking no for an answer.
Ah.
And so she went out.
And that's why I went out.
That's what I'm saying.
I was depressed.
I thought that was pretty impressive that
I
those two
wanted to
stories
go out.
matched.
I mean, I was upset,
Yeah.
and so my girlfriend said, "Come on, Jeannette," and I said, and I went out too, and that's when I
You
met
didn't
him.
really want to, and
No.
then sure enough, you met him.
And I met him,
And here
and
he is.
he made me laugh, and we danced.
Well,
and-
Mike made anyone laugh.
Oh,
Honestly,
he
the
was
guy
very
was
funny.
the life of the party.
Yes,
I mean,
very.
he was a very energetic, hyper, loud. He was a funny man. I will say that. He
There was
had his moments where he
never
was strict.
again anybody that's going to surpass that man.
No, he was definitely one of a kind, and
Yes.
that's no joke.
Yes, he was awesome.
He had a lot of great moments.
Yes.
And even as a stepfather, who he would always tell me I was his bastard redheaded stepchild. That was his little joke.
Oh, and heal this child, yeah.
Yeah.
And then what else did he do with the?
Wet Willie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wet his finger and stick it
But
in
he
your
would
ear.
do the wrestling thing, the Vulcan grip.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
the Vulcan grip?
Oh my God, I forgot all this shit.
Oh no, he did it with all my friends, and honestly,
I like heal this child,
yes,
yeah.
heal this child and the Vulcan grip. But he was definitely.
He did it to all your friends.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All the friends were kind of like scared of him, only because he was like, it's so funny, Mom, because I actually play with the boys' friends that way. Like, we're like, wrestling and stuff, and they try to come at me, and it's a fun thing, And it reminds me of Mike when he used to do that to me.
If you ever did
and my
heal
friends.
this child or do the Wet Willie or the Vulcan, they think you had lost your
Well, yeah,
mind.
because they don't know what that is. And that was like the Vulcan grip was an old wrestling move back in like the 80s.
Oh my God, I
but, yeah,
forgot all that.
That's
funny.
It was very, very funny. Yeah. So he, I had to work with him. He actually, I went through a tough time there for only about 6 months, where I was actually,
a little mischievous.
I was just hung up with the wrong people. And again, that's guilty by association, right?
Yeah.
The good news is when I got in trouble, the other guys actually stood up for me and said I didn't do anything, but yet I was there. So be careful
Not
who you
saying
hang
that
out
he's
with.
perfect.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying be careful who you hang out with, because I chose to go that path, and therefore I got arrested.
Right.
And then Mike pretty much told me I had long hair. He shaved my head, said, hey, part of your punishment is shave that pretty hair, and then you're going to work with me for a summer. And honestly, that was, it's funny. It's just very much what you see. It's like people are miserable at first and going like, this is going to be the worst summer ever.
But you did all right.
But what I'm saying is we got closer, and I also made money. It's
Yeah.
not like I was working for free.
And it was lumber?
It was only 2 months at a lumber place. I'm saying it felt like eternity, because at first, and then I got to actually go on long trips and learn stuff.
The
it was
woman,
very, very
because you drove to Washington
Oh,
or
we went
everywhere.
We went everywhere.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
My timer
Yeah, I
went
know.
off.
Huh?
My timer went off for the next
Oh,
one.
God, what's this one?
This one is Southern Comfort.
Is that what this is?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is just a staple. I mean, I just chose it because I haven't had it on the show yet. It's a very smooth,
All right,
sweet
that's cool.
whiskey. I think you'll like this one. If you make a face at this one, we definitely know you're not a fan of whiskey. Isn't it sweet? Think about it. Don't do it yet.
That's not bad.
That's good.
I could do that.
That's what I'm saying, right? I
Yep.
knew she'd like that one.
That one's good. I like that. That's
Isn't that good? And then follow up with the peanut butter next, and
Oh,
you're good
yeah,
to go.
that's good to
We're
go.
gonna have a good moment.
I'm going to advertise this.
Oh, screw.
Well, and that BMW shit.
So
That's good.
It is good.
Why
isn't it?
didn't I ever know about that?
Southern Comfort. It's very
That's
good.
good stuff.
Yeah, especially for ladies who don't like whiskey.
Yeah, I don't.
So, okay. So let's talk a little bit about Mike. I mean, obviously there were some moments between both fathers that there was some abuse, whether it be mental or physical. It was an off and on thing. We all move on. I guess I want to ask you, for people that are, in marriages and have tough times, what is your advice, or how did you handle that after the fact? I mean, how did you move on from after Dad left and you moved on? Did it affect you in any way, or are you just pretty much one of those people like myself that, did I get it from you, where you just kind of like you forgive and you move on?
I do. I never stay. I cannot, for the life of me, stay mad at anybody.
I cannot believe
I
how
have
similar
tried so hard, and
she's tried hard to be mad.
I can't. I that's something I've never been able to do. There's times when I wanted to be.
You get mad for like 5 seconds.
Oh, not
like at the house, you're like, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh,
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
But it's like I cannot stay mad. unlike other people around me, not you guys,
No, I
but
know.
through my life,
Right.
I've had,
They carry grudges. They
people,
stay mad for a long time.
but I don't. I love waking
unreal.
up. I love seeing people. I love everything. Since I've been out here, I'm getting closer to God. I have lived in a Christian household, and I do.
No, I know. You are doing amazing.
And I love it. I love the pastor. I love everything out here. I miss my home, back home
Well,
in
we'll
Maryland.
bring that up next.
I've been
I
there
wanna
all my
talk-
life.
I want to talk about
Oh,
that a little
okay.
bit. No, I mean, I don't want to skip over. I'm just saying I want to make
But
sure we
yeah,
hit
I
on
don't
that.
stay mad. I'm
Yeah.
not. That's maybe you kind of channeled from me.
You know what's funny, Mom? Honestly, this is the first time that we've had like a 45-minute straight talk about all this. We've had memories. We've had a couple minutes where she reminisces. But it's so funny hearing you say that, because when I argue as a spouse, you're always gonna have
Yes,
arguments.
I
There's
hear
no
ya.
perfect. We bicker. You get upset when we bicker.
I do.
Anyway, what I'm saying is that I'm the one that, not that Mila holds grudges long or anything, but I just can't stay mad long. And she goes, "Why don't you ever yell?" And I'm like, "I just don't yell. It's just not my thing." So
Never have been a yeller.
I mean, I'm saying how interesting it is that you pretty much, with all these other things we talked about, very, very similar in that whole thing. You forget, you move, you love people.
I love people. I move on. I don't hold grudges against anybody.
And you're a very social butterfly, which is also me. It's very similar. You just talk to
I
anybody.
walk to people when they go by me. Hey, how you doing? Fine, how are you? I call everybody sweetie, baby, honey.
Right.
And I thought that might get me in trouble quite a few times in my working
Well, it did.
world.
Let's be honest.
In my working world.
in your working world.
Oh,
That was
but
back.
it never
that was
did.
before all
but
the other
thank
stuff.
God,
Yeah.
the people that I said that to,
Yeah.
and even big corporate people,
Yeah.
never took
They
it
knew
the wrong
you
way.
were. They knew you were
They
just a
accepted
genuine
me
sweet
who I
person.
was.
Yeah.
And I can hug, well, not anymore, but I could hug them and love them and tell them, "Ooh, you're looking good, baby." And they never brought.
They
you
never
know,
thought anything about
no,
it. Yeah,
they
because
weren't.
that was just your personality.
Yes.
They knew you were in that marriage, but you were just always a happy person.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, and it's very weird. Let me ask you though. So my mom, I do want to talk about the 18 months of being pretty ill. You know, she is from Maryland her whole life, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Born, raised, didn't come. She would come out once a year for our family vacations.
Mm-hmm.
Once she retired, she'd stay maybe a couple, 3 weeks when we'd have a family vacation. We'd go to Jamaica, Hawaii, Mexico, all that stuff. But once she, about 18, it's been almost 2 years now when you started, she became very ill.
It was 2017.
Okay, so 3 years ago when you started. So let's just hit on how sick were you and how did you handle the almost, I mean, you were almost dead, let's be honest.
Well, we all went to Mexico.
Right?
Puerto Vallarta?
Yes.
Is
That
that
was the
where
last
we
one
met
we
to
did
England?
together.
Okay.
Yes.
When I got home
Mm-hmm.
in June, I
Yeah.
got sick.
Right.
And they found a tick on my girlfriend found a tick.
Okay.
So,
Actual animal tick, you mean?
yeah, with
Okay.
a
Right.
ugly head on it.
Right.
And back in Maryland, they were pretty
That's
bad.
a big deal, yeah.
So I ended up in the hospital, but I wasn't,
You were there for the tick,
well,
is what you thought, is what
yeah.
I'm saying, yeah.
And then they never really told me what was wrong with me. And then,
Good old man.
yeah, and then, so that was in like a July. And then I went home and, let's see, that was 2000 and then I ended up in December
Mm-hmm. Of 2017 or 18?
17
Okay.
in the hospital with
Okay.
a heart attack.
Right. How many?
And-
That was like your third one though, since Hawaii years ago, or
Yeah.
fourth,
Mhm.
third.
And then 18 was between
It was 18 was just a.
up and down, up and down.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then 18 was between
I honestly thought you were
Hospital.
going to pass away at 18.
yeah. Well, remember Carrie was calling you all the time.
Yes.
I was between nursing homes and hospital, and then 19.
That was kind of a comeback tour a little
well, I
bit.
came out
Because
here,
you came out here,
got better,
Right.
went back home,
got sick.
ended up back here.
Right.
So now we're in 2020.
Right. So you actually let's
I've
talk-
almost died like 14 times.
So
I
let's
remember
talk about
Carrie.
this.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Carrie would be
Carrie-
my sister and
Yeah,
her
bless
daughter.
her heart.
Yeah.
She had to put up with me. So the thing happened in 17 when I had the heart thing,
Right.
and that was at Christmas time.
Correct.
And then I went to a nursing home and I didn't like, and then they sent me to
Oh,
another
I can't believe
nursing
how
home,
many
which I
times she
did
drove
like.
everywhere. She drove
She
everywhere.
did everywhere. She took
Oh,
me
God.
everywhere. And then we
I
went
remember all
to
the phone calls.
I know. And then I went to a nursing home, and then I remember her call. I don't know if it was you or
I don't know anyone
Diane.
laughs
She
about
called.
death.
She said, "Let me just say, Kenny, you ain't gonna believe. I think it was you. You ain't gonna believe this. Mom almost died again." Because the doctor said, if you had showed up today, you'd be dead tomorrow. And she said, oh my God. Oh.
You know what's funny?
What? It's not funny.
Ironic. Well, you're laughing.
Well, I laugh at my brother.
I know.
God bless him. He's suffering.
I know.
But he talks
He's
about
not
it.
suffering. He's just suffering because he
But
yeah.
he makes
He's
me
a
laugh. And I
hilarious
say,
guy. He's a-
Brian.
Uncle Brian's
Oh,
a very...
I'm sorry. I said,
It's not a bad thing. You
no.
can drop names.
I said,
It's good.
honey, I don't mean to laugh.
He has the
It's
driest
the way
sense
he
of humor.
talks.
Oh, he has the driest
He
sense
said,
of humor.
God.
He's one of my
It's the
favorite.
way he says it
Yeah.
that just breaks me up.
You know what's funny though is Mila kept telling me, "Go see your mom. Go see your mom," and I said,
Oh, when I
"I'm
was
not."
dog
Yes.
dying.
But I said, "I'm not giving up. I think she's gonna make it. I don't want to be like, because if I go, it seems final, you know. And granted, that's part of my own dealing. I should have probably seen you. I didn't want you to think I didn't love you or care about you. But I just felt like if I go, then you're
Yeah.
like, why is he here?"
Well,
Flying out randomly.
That's like when I went to the nursing home and I look up and see my brother that I hadn't seen in a long time and his wife, and I'm going, oh my God, am I dying? Did
I know,
somebody
you're
not
like,
tell me?
is there something going on?
And
I haven't
he's
seen him
going,
for
no,
20
we're
years.
good. I said, oh my God.
Just in case, right? Just in
I
case you
don't-
didn't make it. Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to Caroline Nursing Home.
Yeah.
They are awesome.
Yeah.
They treated me so great, and they are clean and wonderful and the best people in the world there. I gotta hand it. If anybody watches this, it's a very good place. In Denton, Maryland.
Yeah, that's on the East Coast. So you
Yeah.
probably, if you're watching this, you should check into that one.
Yeah.
But you're most likely out here in California.
So you ain't going
And
there.
not a lot of people have a wife like mine who can take care of, you know,
Oh,
she should have her own
yes, she did.
hospital. Yeah.
Oh, she could. She's great. She's very
She should
good.
run her own
She
hospital.
took care of me.
She's like
forever.
a nurse without a degree. So we're going to do the last shot of peanut butter.
Okay,
And then we're
which
going
I
to
love.
wrap up with just a summary of everything, and we'll go from
I
there.
think it's been good.
It has been
I've
good.
enjoyed
It's been
this.
Great.
Oh God, how
Look,
come yours?
Would you
You
like a
got
bigger
more.
one, Mom?
Yes.
Okay.
A peanut
this is
butter.
the first where we've ever added to it.
Man, this
I
is
apologize.
good shit.
I know.
All right, honey, that's enough.
Hey, don't you dare.
What?
It's-
I ain't
You
drinking
can't
until
have it
you
without
do.
me. I did a fat one for me.
Oh, I like that little glass.
Yeah.
Mm.
As much as she likes it.
The only thing about it is
it's kind of like a
it
burn.
needs
doesn't it?
ice because it's so sweet. You need. I mean, it's not
I'm
wrong
only
with it.
laughing because of what her.
It's peanut butter, so you can't go wrong. But my God,
Oh
it
yeah,
needs
could
ice.
you imagine having like a lot of peanut butter? Like obviously, Screwball is one of the more on the scene the last couple of years. Anyway, so we want to summarize.
Yes, we
I'd
do.
like to know.
Yes,
First of all, we've gone through a little bit of history about me and her.
we've had a good time.
We shortened up the version of you a little bit
Yeah.
as far as, I wanted to know about you, but I also want to know about your personal experiences with death, divorce,
Yeah.
being a mother, single, being a daughter of single mom, losing 2 husbands.
Yeah, that's been pretty rough.
That was pretty rough. I know
Yeah.
it seems like losing...
Because I loved them both at one time.
Yeah, so I didn't even hit on that, and we're going to wrap it
And
up.
I do. They've given me some beautiful children, awesome children, and
Grandchildren.
grandchildren. That their legacy is
Right.
in that too. So
Correct.
it's
And
not.
I want that
it's
to
not
live
wrong.
on here.
Oh,
I want
yeah.
that to live on here. I want my kids'
Yes.
to be able to see this and say, my grandfather, or great grandfather,
Yeah,
I'll be their
because-
grandfather.
I mean, you the year that you brought Mike out here
Right.
before
Oh,
he passed,
yes.
the pictures.
And it was
of-
just him.
Yes,
Just him. Not
Well-
you, not...
Carrie.
Well, Carrie, yeah.
Because he had to have somebody
Right,
travel.
right.
But I'll never forget the picture of Brooke in the wheelchair
On Grand Avenue,
walking him
doing Cruising
down.
Grand, where he could see those Cruising Grand cars, which if you see this from other areas, but if you know it from California, you
It's
know
a
Cruising
cruise.
Grand, and he's a huge car buff, and he was able to walk down, and we went to dinner, and we had drinks, and
it was beautiful.
and he was just holding Brooke's hand. That picture
Because
is classic. It's ingrained
it is
in my head.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's black and white, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't even know.
And it's like I was out here, and I said, Mike's not doing good. And Kenny said, well, we need to fly home maybe. And I said, well, why don't you fly Mike? It would be cheaper.
Right.
And he said, well, and then he called Carrie, and she said, oh, I'll come.
Yeah.
Because he had to have an
Chaperone.
escort chaperone.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I'll come. And that's when you
She's
were
only
living
been
on
out here
Sunset.
twice, so yeah.
And I want them out here so bad to enjoy this.
Yeah.
They need this so much
Yeah, it would
right
be
now.
amazing. Yeah.
But, she can't right
That's for
now.
another day.
Yep.
Understanding the tragedies
I
that my
think it would
sister's
be
going through,
awesome.
but we love her. We love
Yes.
everybody. We just want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we just want to, I know my mom has had a lot of thoughts about being a, not the greatest mom, but you've been amazing. Don't ever think otherwise.
I'm very funny.
You dealt with what you had. You had to deal with what you had, and that's another reason I want to make sure people understand
I'm not the Aunt Jemima.
No, you're not the cook of the world.
No.
But
Oh, I can cook.
yeah, I know, fried everything,
And butter.
Yeah, it's like basically everything you've seen on the East Coast from the '60s. That's my mom. Fry everything with butter until it dies and has no nutritional value.
Shut up.
And I
Just
always
because
say,
they're healthy.
I always say that because out here in California, that's what we.
Oh,
we
they're
live
healthy
on.
out here.
Yeah.
So I have to go down in my shack and cook good shit.
You like my food?
I do.
Yes.
Some
On
of it.
occasion, she likes. Thank you for that. I thought she was going to say something better. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
You want me to sing?
Yes. Why don't you do a little?
What am I going to sing?
Well, the happy birthday is no one's birthday is happening. We don't want to do. I think honestly, God bless America, because we're going through the movement of Black Lives Matter, and we're going through the COVID-19. And I feel like God Bless America would be the best thing. So why don't we give her a couple octaves? She's only going to do the first 2 verses before she loses all her breath.
That's all they allow me.
After this, we're out. Thank you so much. Go.
God bless. Oh.
Mom.
Hold on.
Sorry, we're going to start over.
Helicopter.
All right, we're out in the backyard. All right, Mom. What happened there? Let's go.
Aliens.
Sing the song.
Hold on. God bless America.
There we go.
Land that I love. Stand beside her. That's enough. We're out.
I think I don't know. We should probably take her.
I think I got a bug.
All right, peace out. Love you guys.
Love
Talk
ya.
to you next week.